Hi everyone, this is Ashwini from CKA Hands-On channel. The purpose of my channel is to get people who want to give CKA 2025 exam get started on their hands-on practicing journey once they finish the formal course of CKA and have a basic understanding of Kubernetes concepts. This creates the depth in your understanding of each concept and helps you crack CKA exam. CKA exam consists of questions from 5 different categories. We are currently in the troubleshooting category that carries 30% weightage in CKA exam. I have a playlist for each category of CKA exam. Please do check out my playlist for networking and storage categories that carry 20% and 10% weightage. The links for the playlist are provided in every video. With that introduction, let's get started with today's video. This is 16th or 17th video in the troubleshooting series. And it is about Kube API server. Before we jump into solving the question, let's try to understand what Kube API server is. So this is the Kubernetes cluster architecture, and if you see, we've got the control plane components, and we've got the node components. Now the core of control plane is Kube, the API server, which is Kube API server, and it exposes the HTTP API. So it is the core of the Kubernetes control plane, and it's the API server and the HTTP API that it exposes. The API server exposes an HTTP API that lets end users, different parts of your cluster, and external components communicate with one another. Here, like kubectl command line interface and other command line tools like kubeadm, all the calls that we are performing, the creation or editing and all those things, internally it's just an HTTP API call, and that is exposed by Kube API server. So it's very, very important in terms of the communication for the external components with one another, and also the different for the users to access different components of your cluster. So that is the small introduction. So if it is down, you basically will not be able to do anything. Your basic kubectl commands will also not be working. So let's try to solve this question, and let's see how we can solve it. So it says, I have set the context now. When you run kubectl get nodes or kubectl get pod -a, it threw the connection to the server 172.30.126.443 was refused. Did you specify the right host or port? Need to wait for a few seconds to make above command work again, but above error will come again after a few seconds. And also kube controller manager control plane port continuously restarting, fix the above issue. The expectation is Kube API server control plane pods running in Kube system namespace. So it says that there is some problem with the API server and it is running as a pod in Kube system namespace. It says SSH to control plane, but we are already in control plane. So what it is trying to say is, if you try to do any Kubernetes kubectl commands, it should be failing, but it is working intermittently. That's what it's saying. But for now it's working, and you can see that there is this Kube API server control plane which is not ready. It's running, but it's not ready. So what we have to do is describe to get to the events of the pod. Do the pod because it is deployed as a pod, and remember it is in Kube system namespace. So if we do it, it says startup probe failed 172.30.126.433 live C, right? So I have already mentioned this. If the cluster components on control plane or deployed as pods, we generally go to, for all the configurations, we generally go here, and you will have the configurations here. But if you are looking at the actual manifest, the pod configurations that is used to deploy the components here. For example, the kube API server is the one that we're having the problems. The path to it is etc kubernetes manifest, and you will have each components manifest file here. So if you open it, I think let's go back because I want to 6433. So we'll look for 6433. Okay, there is a 6433. Now I know for a fact that that API server runs on 6443. So if you see here, the endpoint is 6443. If you do not remember it, that's fine too. You can go to the documentation and check for on which port does API server run on. The default port is 6443. It is correct here, but then in other parts of the manifest it is not correct. So I think this is the part. So it's not 6433. I am replacing it 6443, and let's go back and check it again. So if you do get ports minus a, remember that in the beginning it said that the connection to the server was refused. Did you specify the right host or pod? So what it says is just wait. You need to wait for a few seconds to make the above command work. So maybe when you change it, it will be trying to create. So we'll just wait for a few seconds. It's not ready yet. I'll try to go to just read through the documentation. There's something about open API as well. I think that is the universal specification, API specification. Kubernetes serves both OpenAPI version 2 and version 3. OpenAPI version 3 is the preferred method of accessing the OpenAPI because it offers a more comprehensive, lossless representation of Kubernetes resources. Due to limitations in OpenAPI version 2, certain fields are dropped from the published OpenAPI, including but not default to. Yeah, there's some documentation here. Let's go back and check. Yeah, now it's running. It's still not running, so let's try to recreate it, but it is still in a pending state. It's running, but there's no pod ready. We still have 6433. Okay, let's go back to the API server and find for any more things. So 6433, I'll search for 6433. Okay, there's one more place I want to search. Okay, there are two more places. I'm going to update all the references to 6443. And I think if we do like you will still get the error, maybe because it is trying to recreate the component again. So the API server, this is a control plane component. So if you can see here in your cluster, you have a control plane and you have your nodes. This is master, and these are your just nodes, and you have your kube API server. And if you see, everything is communicating to your API server. But API server, I think it refers to the etcd to get the data. The nodes, the controller manager, the scheduler, everything talks to the kube that also talks to kube API server. So So let's go back and yeah. Now it is ready. Cube API server control plane is ready, but the other ones, the controller manager and the scheduler, they are in the crash loop. Back off. Just to check. Yeah, so the controller manager is also running now. Everything is running. Let's try to check, because that's what they said, that expectation is cube API control plane is running. Let's try to check it. Yeah, the validation is successful. That's how you troubleshoot the errors related to API server port. Now, if you think my videos are helpful, please do like, share and subscribe to my channel. I will be posting the KillerCoda link and the required documentation in the video description. I'll also be sharing all my playlists. There are about 16 to 17 videos in troubleshooting series. Please do watch my videos. Please read the documentation and solve the KillerCoda scenarios and reference my videos if you're getting stuck for the detailed troubleshooting. And that's it. I think I will see you in the next video. If you have any comments, if you have any feedback, just let me know in the comments, and I will try to incorporate those in my upcoming videos. Please do not forget to subscribe to my videos so that you'll get updates on my latest videos as well. Thank you and happy learning. Bye.